Lewis Hamilton and Lando Norris are two English F1 drivers with a huge following. Let's call them Team LH and the Norris Girlies. These two groups dominate social media platforms like Twitter, but also Threads and Instagram. They are very enthusiastic. Well, actually, that's the wrong word. They are very loud and they are never happy, it seems. And they seem to want to make everyone just as miserable. They are so weird. The most famous Formula 1 cult is, without a doubt, Team LH. These people are proper fanatics, drawn in by Sir Lewis Hamilton's immense success years ago, and his activities outside of racing. A lot of groups of different people feel represented by his presence in Formula 1, and they make it known too. The downside of this is that they are not necessarily the most knowledgeable when it comes to the rules of F1, and they always find a reason to feel hard done by. I, as a Dutchman, see a lot of over-the-top positivity when it comes to the holder of the record for the most wins. For example, the "Through goes Hamilton" moment from a few years ago wasn't that special in my honest opinion. Two drivers fighting, going off track, and Hamilton driving past them. We see that half a dozen times each season. But I digress. Team LH is a little spoiled when it comes to their hero's success. He dominated in a time without a cost cap, where engine modes were allowed, and he had a season with the DAS system, which no other team had. There was no wind tunnel sliding scale, and Mercedes had by far the strongest engine and package. So when my driver, Max Verstappen, came along, Team LH didn't like that. He was quickly blamed for everything when it came to Lewis not winning. Of course, 80-21 was a bitter pill to swallow. But is it really necessary to still send around a petition against what happened that race? Full-blown YouTube channels are still going strong with nothing but conspiracies. That's obsessive behavior in my book. Then, in the years after 2021, we had a new set of regulations. The ground effect regulations. Mercedes was going to ace those regs with a no side pod philosophy. Well, that didn't work. And Team LH blamed Mercedes for Lewis Hamilton's poor results. Then he started losing to his teammate George Russell, so he was the bad guy. Woody wasn't a team player, according to Team LH, and Toto Wolff was a bad guy too, because Hamilton wanted Bottas to stay. A few seasons went by, and Hamilton sent documents to tell the team how to build an F1 car. That didn't really help much, and the love between Wolff and Hamilton cooled down somewhat. When it was time for a new contract, Hamilton expected a little more from the team he once had wrapped around his finger. Toto Wolff didn't budge, so Hamilton found a new home where his demands for the future were met. He went to Scuderia Ferrari. Immediately, Team LH dropped Mercedes and Toto Wolff, like they weren't the ones that gave him the best package to win all but one of his titles. At Ferrari, he was going to win his 8th title, the title that was stolen from him by Michael Masi, Max, and the FIA, and everyone else. Before the 2025 season started, so much hype was created about the success he was going to have there. He was going to whip Maranello into shape. They missed out on the constructors in 2024, but they were going to win it all in 2025. Well, Team LH had a rude awakening. To me, it made sense that Charles Leclerc was going to be hard to beat. He's awesome, and communication with Italians is pretty hard when you don't speak Italian, even though he said he had been studying it for 6 months already. Then there's the difference in culture and the infamous strategy, and you get a season without any podiums. Constantly a little slower than his teammate, and that's where Team LH is starting to run their mouths again. Ferrari is an unserious team. Leclerc isn't a team player. Sabotage, etc, etc. The whole thing starts all over again. They just can't seem to realize that Lewis Hamilton isn't the best driver ever. Like everyone else, he has flaws, and there's nothing wrong with that. They just can't accept the truth. Therefore, when Lewis Hamilton was under investigation for 3 separate incidents at the Mexican Grand Prix, he received a penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. They felt he was singled out. The truth is that he got away with the collision with Verstappen, and he got away with not following the race director's instructions over the escape route. And he only received the set penalty for not giving back the advantage. Team LH pointed at other drivers leaving the track and at the FIA picking on Hamilton because he's black, and they were angry at Riccardo Adami, Lewis' race engineer, for not giving him the right information, and they were mad at Leclerc for cutting the track a little. So my timeline after the race was filled with this drivel. Lewis Hamilton didn't help the situation either by pointing at other drivers, pretending not to understand that he didn't give back the advantage. Also, the Sky commentators repeated 12 times that Charles Leclerc also left the track briefly. So it's no wonder that all that's getting parroted, instead of someone explaining the rules. They'll never take accountability this way, just like Lewis. Normally I'd ignore it, but they were talking about old stuff again as well, and saying that Max, the golden boy, was getting favoured. When will this nonsense stop? Hopefully after the 2026 season. But there will be a new breed of crazy F1 fans. And I'm not talking about Mexicans fighting. That was very cringe too. The dynamics at the McLaren F1 team have provided a lot of content for creators like me. Zach Brown and Andrea Stella are doing their utmost to sanitize every race situation, to make it fair. And it pisses everyone off, especially the Lando Norris fans, who are predominantly girls, and maybe some guys who want to get in there with the said girls. Which is a valid strategy in my opinion. The Norris fans do nothing but moan on social media. They spent the whole day creating scenarios where Lando Norris is hard done by.
Max Verstappen fans used to like Norris until Norris started being a threat.
Okay then, let's ignore Lando's silly comments, shall we?
The McLaren team was hampering him and favouring Piastri for the first half of the season.
Sure, let's ignore the crashes in quali and in Canada. That's okay.
Piastri wasn't a team player because he passed Norris in Monza in 2024. The media and F1 fans are all mean to Norris for no reason.
Right, I suppose valid criticism about his driving and behaviour is hate. Sure, even the McLaren mechanics are against him because they keep giving him slow pit stops. And a DNF in Zandvoort. So mean. And then the complete head loss over the booing he received in Mexico. He's standing there after winning the race, he's smiling, he's happy, he's going home, and the Mexicans can all have a nice day. Well, some of them will have hangovers, and some of them will be black and blue, but that's their own fault. The Norris girlies found another thing to be overly dramatic about. They love it. At the same time, Lando Norris is leading the championship, so you think they'd be happy. Well, there are a few accounts that genuinely are supporting Norris by praising his stellar performance in Mexico. The rest of them are still creating these, when Norris did this, Zach Brown said this, but when Piastri does this, he said this. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope you know which type of posts I'm talking about. Rather than being happy and celebrating, they try to gain clout by making the dramatic, over-the-top scenarios, hoping for sympathy, not realizing that people are sick of it. And they are gaining a bad reputation. I'm expecting a few comments underneath this video as well. That I'm toxic and a misogynist. I don't really care. I know I'm not. So what I'd like to advise these two fan bases is enjoy it all while it lasts. Hamilton might be on his last season next season, and Norris might not be able to fight for a championship next season. He's got the momentum, he's not bottling races anymore, and he seems really happy in his skin at the moment. Focus on that. These should be special moments that shouldn't be wasted on negativity and toxicity. Stop trying to create drama over nothing. Stop being weird. Subscribing to my YouTube channel definitely isn't weird. Take care now. Doei doei.